Today we're sitting down on the porch with Zona, a QHS member whose life is as heartwarming as a home-cooked meal. What paths did she follow to get to where she is today? Let's take a stroll down memory lane and see what's been cooking behind the scenes.
This is Zona doing my prequel, and I was born in 48, the fifth child of 7. Dad was a farmer, and his dad came over from Germany. Mother was a stay-at-home mom and helped Dad as a hired man. Her mother came over from Austria. Mother later worked as a nurse, as an aide in our small town. As a baby, I couldn't urinate pee, and Mom called the doctor, and the doctor said for Dad to go out to the barn and bring in some spider webs and put in a brown paper sack and put on my tummy. Well, that done the trick. So it seemed like when I was very young, I had objects in my life. But then when I was 20 months old, Mom wrapped me up, and Dad took me by horseback a little over a mile to meet the snow ambulance. I was very sick. So then the doctor done exploratory surgery. I had ruptured appendix at 20 months old. And Mom and Dad, well, it was a blizzard, and Mom was home nursing a 5-month-old brother. So in the hospital, there was a lady there that would walk the floors with me because I cried a lot. Well, then I broke out with chicken pox. So anyway, that was the start of my early childhood. But then in 2nd grade, the teacher told Mom that if she worked with me all summer, or part of the summer, read books or whatever, that I could go on to 3rd grade. Well, Mom was busy in the field helping Dad and everything, and so I didn't get help, and I was held back in the 2nd grade, so my brother caught up with me. They said I was tongue-tied and I couldn't speak very well. And that kind of put something on my mind that says, like, you're not so smart. And so that's kind of held me back. But I'm doing a lot better. I'm more positive over myself. And then I was a tall girl. In the 5th and 6th grade, I was the same height I am now, which is 5'9". So I towered over everybody. So I just felt like I was large. Then I married my high school sweetheart. We moved to California from South Dakota, and he was a police officer. And then I worked for the post office. But in California, I had 2 children. My first was born on the original Memorial Day, May 30th, 1972. And then she was a Down syndrome. So, well, a year later, I had a little boy. And so I had the 2 kids. Well, he wasn't faithful to me, and so I moved back to South Dakota with the 2 children. I worked at the post office, and I can't handle stress, and so my cranial would go out. That's a bone structure in your head. And I'd go to a chiropractor and get help, and that helped me. And then I married my 2nd husband in 1980, and he was a little older than I am, and he had 2 children, and I had 2 children. Well, when he was a baby, his mother had mastitis, and he couldn't drink her milk, so they milked horses, and he drank horse milk. So I feel a digestive problem because my appendix were out when I was 20 months old, and I couldn't digest food real well. And my husband, he had horse milk, but then his digestion problem. So all in all, when he was in the 8th grade, he quit school. He was farming with his dad. Well, then he got rheumatic fever, and he went to the hospital, and they sent him home to die. Well, his mother nursed him back to health. He was very sick. And so he's always had challenges with his health. And with his challenges, then you get into trying to find out cures, which alternative. And that helped me in my life too. When I was hauling grain and leveled the truck of wheat. Well, we were the furthest away from home then, which was 30 miles, but it was 30 miles in the other way to the hospital. Well, I was leveling grain and my foot slipped. Off came my finger, my wedding band, my finger. And so then we went and I had that finger removed. Well, then I took care of my husband. He had dementia at the end and prostate cancer and bladder cancer. Anyway, we had filed bankruptcy in 1985 because we were paying 20% interest on our money. Well, then I said, well, I can go back to work. So I went back to the work at the post office. And then we moved closer to a bigger town, Aberdeen. And then I was doing the yard work and everything, but he passed away. And after he passed away, I had a broken heart. I didn't realize what it was, but there was pain in this side and this side and this side. And my friend said, I'll take you to the doctor. I said, no, I'm just fine. Well, 2 weeks after that, I went to a healing and I was healed of my broken heart. I have never had any pain in my heart since then. And so that was a blessing. And then in 2004, we moved closer to town. We were 5 miles out. Well, he had passed and I was doing yard work. Pulling on a tree, I broke my wrist at 70. That was when I was 70. Well, anyway, and so I thought my big acreage, that's enough. So I moved to town to a condo and I live there now. And then I go to Arizona in the winter and I was walking. Well, I tripped over a speed bump and my knee chipped. There was 2 little pebbles in my knee. So I had surgery back home and it didn't heal. The first one didn't heal. And so I had a second surgery on my knee. I like to do with health. I've done Reiki, kinesiology, massage, energy balancing, working with crystals, and I like reading health books. And whatever I read, I try as with crafts. Whatever I see, I think I can do. And so I'm very active like that. I am pleased with the Q-Wave, and I just have more energy, more self-confidence. My fingernails are getting thicker. The restless leg syndrome is less, and the age spots on my arms and legs have lightened. And so I'm just thankful for Dr. Alfredo, Wayne, Carolyn, and all the team for getting this project going. And that is my prequel.
Join us on the Prequel, where every story matters and every voice is heard. Because here at QHS, we're all about healing, learning, and growing together.